Can I start drinking now?
You know what is great about working at DLLS?
No, wait. Tell me when we're live.
We're live.
Oh,
Yeah, look, you're pouring right now. You know what's great about working at DLLS, which is a extension of the ALLCITY network? Our producers get so much joy out of saying, we're going to go live, I'll tell you when, and then tee-heeing Luds because they hit the button but didn't say live. There's no light that pops on, so we have to rely on their honor.
Yes, fans, this is getting old.
Honor code.
Happening
It's all it is.
show.
It's honor code. And so far, our producers have failed in that category.
Loyalty.
They have no honor. But guess what? We have another victory and another post-game show to celebrate 2 points. The Stars win tonight 3-0 over the Islanders. I'm looking at the wrong camera. It doesn't matter because they won. Let's get this post-game show started right now. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? The DLLS Dallas Stars post-game show. Craig Ludwig here, Ludwig gets credit for tonight's thumbnail. Home Oettinger, not the home opener, because guess what? The Stars win thanks to a brilliant 33-save shutout from Jake Oettinger. It's his first shutout of the season in 2 games and his 11th of his NHL career in the regular season. And he was magnificent tonight against the Islanders.
He was. And what's ironic about it is the guy on the other bench, Patrick Roy, when those saves, because Otters had some posts, right? What do we add them up to? About 7 in the first couple games?
They
6
had
or 7?
4 in the first game, and they had at least 3 or 4 tonight. They had 2 in the third period. Let's see. Well, we might as well just do it. That's 3, 4. So 8 posts. He's averaging 4 a game.
Well,
right.
And goalies will say that's all I gave you to shoot at, right? But Patrick was one of the first ones when it hit the post, he'd turn around and he'd rub his post. You know, now goaltenders are all doing that.
Do it.
Otter doesn't do it though, does he? I haven't seen him do it yet.
I remember Marc-Andre Fleury saying that if hits the post, he's played his angles correctly.
Yeah. And well, he gives
Marc-Andre
him a
Fleury, he'll give him hugs and kisses.
Yeah, that's a little too far.
I don't think Oettinger does that.
No, I don't. I've never seen him do it.
Should we ask him when the next chance?
Yeah, but I love the part where Otter makes a save and he just takes the puck and he throws it to the face-off.
Love it.
I love that. Anyway, he was great. He was fantastic. And when you look at the game completely, especially the first and the third period, the Stars were outshot combined 26-14 in those 2 periods.
Yep.
The beginning period and the third period. So, and he got some help from his post, but he was on. He's been on since the season started. We talked about this in game 1, too, how good he was. And we probably didn't talk enough about him, but tonight, for sure, did he ever stand out?
Well, let's start with the first period, as we always do. I'm going to stop making that joke because it's not going to get any funnier. It wasn't to begin with. Matt Dumba, one of the first plays of the game, it was his second shift. I went back and looked at his time on ice. So he had an early shift, second shift of the game. It was still 0-0. It was before the first power play happened for the Stars. Catches Casey Cizikas open ice in the Islanders zone, and it looks like maybe knee on knee. Again, not a hit. It was just an awkward collision. And he kind of flips. I mean, what did you see on the play? Because as soon as he got up, he put very little weight on his right leg.
Yeah, I immediately, and they showed a replay right away, and you're able to pause it. When I finally got the control figured out how to pause.
I mean, with all those controllers?
Oh, there's only 3 of them up there. But it did look, it wasn't, Cizikas had nothing to do with it. And when you say in the offensive zone, he was kind of like down forechecking.
Yes.
He was getting on the hunt. And I talked about him, I mentioned him tonight. I thought he would be one of the guys that would stand out because he'd want to kind of that home game, and we know he can be a physical presence out there. He was getting on. He was going to put a hit on Cizikas, and that's what Cizikas does anyway. So, but then it ended up being like a knee-on-knee, leg-on-knee, and he did look like he got it, and it looked like it would have been some kind of a sprain, and he, credit to him as he did come back and at least finish the first period.
He didn't miss a shift because he stayed on the bench. You could see him doubled over in pain from the press box. He was talking to the trainer who was bent down in his ear. But then he didn't miss a shift because they had the power play, so he's not on that anyway. About 4 minutes of game time elapsed, and he's out there, and his shifts for the rest of the period, 44 seconds, a minute 6, 41, 58, 41, 55, and ends with 30 seconds to go. That's a normal, regular defensive shift throughout the first period. But then he didn't come out for the start of the second.
And what that is, that's the adrenaline. And he's playing through it. And he's trying to prove to himself there's nothing wrong. He's trying to prove to the trainers, to the coaches, I'm good to go. And then you get to a certain point, especially when you stop, you go in, you walk in, you sit down, and you try to stand up again. You go, there might be something else going on here. And hopefully it's nothing that would keep him out long term. And we'll find out, I'm sure. Well, we're probably not going to find out. We never find out, right? We always get the generic answers when you say, hey.
Well, Maverick Bork's injury is undisclosed.
Yeah. Well,
we don't even have that for this one.
But we kind of have an idea what part of town it's in. And
I still say this to this day. You remember when Lindy Ruff was coaching the Stars and there was a particular injury where somebody asked him upper or lower body, and he said, well, it depends on where he holds it.
Yeah.
He goes kind of mid-body, maybe upper, maybe lower.
And is he standing on his head, or is he standing up, or is he laying down? Yeah. So. And coach, and again, all you have to do is go back and look at replays, and you know exactly where it is for the most part.
Well, let's get right to a very important moment for us. It's, look at this, Herman Marshall, the marquee moment of the game tonight came from the DLLS Stars group text. Luddy, what are you seeing here?
Are we serious right now?
Look who that is. Is that our producer?
That's our producer who's AWOL.
John Anderson. Look, he's in a 3-point stance. And is that that's Dirty Dancing at a wedding? And he's supposed to be our producer back. He's in Massachusetts right now, right?
So he could stay there for a while if you'd like.
He's supposed to be here tomorrow night to do the Stars and Kraken game. He looks like he's going to be in no position to be working
We need
hockey
him
broadcast.
on camera if he does make it tomorrow. We need to see what this boy looks like.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I thought his dancing partner was going to do a power bomb drop into the, like, literally pick him up and then drop him back first.
I don't know, but somebody's holding a Miller Lite there. Did you catch that? You missed that. You missed that part.
Luddy, you have such 20/20 vision for those things.
Good eyes.
Yes.
Good eyes.
It's a Wisconsin thing. Okay. Well, now let's do our real Herman Marshall marquee moment of the game. Pick up your favorite bottle at your closest goody liquor. And tonight, it's a 2-goal swing in the matter of seconds.
Yeah, in the first period, it was, I want to say, fortunate. And this one, Jake didn't actually have to make a save on. But the Islanders go down on a 3-on-2, and there is a good quality scoring chance. And that shot that should have gone in the net, but it didn't, hits the side of the net. We come down to the other end of the rink, and then you get a couple nice little forechecks, nice little pass by Mason Marchment, and Tyler Seguin buries it. So, you go from one end of the rink where it could have been 1-0.
And that was Barzell's pass to Duclair.
And Duclair has been, again, a couple points in his first game, a guy that Patrick Waugh kind of, really wanted to have on this club and said he could create a lot for Horvat and Barzell, and he can open up some ice. He's got some speed, and it was a nice pass right across the crease, puts it right on the tape, and he kind of got himself a little bit almost down below the goal line, and he hits the side of the net. Dallas does a good job. They turn it over. They come all the way down the ice, goes into the far left corner, comes around the back of the net. Marchment makes a really nice pass out front, just misses the defenseman's stick. Tyler Seguin goes up top over the glove hand and gets the Stars a 1-0, and kind of build on that momentum that was opening night momentum from the crowd.
The goal from Seguin at 7:59. Marchment and Duchesne the assist. That line continues in 2 games to be a driver of offense. And that goal makes it 1-0, of course. That's a Tyler Seguin vintage shot. There was a time not long ago where when he was coming off the hip and the quad injuries, and he had the surgery with the knee and the hip, that we thought that he might have lost his explosive ability to get that type of a shot off anymore. I thought that he might only be limited to being a little slower, but then the one-timers weren't there the same. He wasn't getting that snap in his wristers. That looks like a Tyler Seguin shot that we saw in the prime of his pre-injury part of his career.
And he got it off quick. And I think for Tyler, there's a couple keys for me to that goal. There was 3 New York Islanders that went down below the goal line, and that's what opened up some space in the middle. Tyler doesn't go down beyond the goal line. He kind of recovers because he knows he has 2 forwards down low. So what do you do as the high forward? You want to get up, and you want to get up in the middle of the ice so that you have 3 guys on your way back. It doesn't. It gets turned over. Marchment makes that pass right away, puts it on Tyler's, and he's not down by the hash marks. He's above it, which is a hard area to cover for a defenseman or anybody in the middle because you're not sure, are you supposed to be a little bit higher? You got to be a little bit lower. So you kind of get in the middle of coverage, and he takes advantage of a couple of guys down below the goal line and a perfect shot up high to get Stars that lead.
So that's our Herman Marshall marquee moment of the game. For every bottle of single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Herman Marshall donates 15% of its revenue to the Guns N' Hoses Foundation of North Texas for those who went before. Stop in to your closest goody-goody liquor store to find your favorite bottle.
This one right here.
That's your favorite bottle.
Well, it's our favorite bottle.
It is. We are a sharing show. We'll get Sam back and share, and he can have, what do we have, like 1 or 2 droplets?
The eyedropper.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll use an eyedropper. He's like feeding a little bird.
And that could send him bouncing off the walls. All right. So the next scoring chances, we get back to our stuff here. Hey, look at this. Benn, oh, geez. I love that our GM here at DLLS is a big Dallas Stars fan. He writes, I called for a 164-point season after game 1. I ain't wrong yet. Go Stars.
He ain't wrong. He's the boss. Bosses usually aren't wrong.
That's true.
When they are, they don't admit it.
Yeah, well, like messing up our counter.
Yeah,
which we're not going to say, but he'll try to super chat us later. So the next scoring chance was the Russian kid, Maxim Siplikov, and he gets a quick shot.
You mean the Scarecrow?
It's an interesting play, right?
Yeah.
Parked in front of the net. He's doing I would call the reverse Sean Avery, the more legal version of it.
Not quite jumping up and down,
But he does do this thing.
Yeah, looks like a Scarecrow.
But here's the thing. Jake Oettinger turned the puck over, but boy, did he bail himself out by getting back and making that save. That was one of those moments where it was a little dicey because of the turnover behind the net.
The little flies flying around.
I was just trying to snatch it out of the air. Jake's got a quicker glove hand than I do.
He sure does. You look like Oettinger there. Again, Jake's been on it. And he not only does he get enough work just off of rushes, but he wants to kick a couple out and get a little extra work. So Oettinger's been magnificent early on here in the first season.
So the rest of the period was almost entirely played by the Islanders as far as offensively. Stars had a couple chances. Stankoven had a good shot on the rush, and Miro was set up for a rebound one-timer from Hintz. Robertson had a little backhander because he kind of fumbled the puck and fought the defender, but then got one on net. But other than that, it was Islanders, and they ended up with a 12-6 edge in shots, an 8-5 quality scoring chance edge, but they were losing 1-0. Does that sound a bit like the Nashville game the other night?
Yeah, it does. But, I think, and again, with the Islanders' loss in, OT the other night in their first game.
Against Utah.
They were going to come out and they were going to push a little bit. And Patrick, had said it. He wants his team to play on their toes, and they did. And they were forcing the issue tonight, and they got up, and they had some pretty good coverage, for the most part. A lot of times when you push games like that, you leave a lot open. That first period, they didn't give much up to the Dallas Stars.
The one thing difference, aside from the fact that the Stars scored and had the lead, I really thought that Dallas was cleaner in their game. They weren't.
Oh, much cleaner.
It wasn't as loose and sloppy as the Nashville game. Again, could be better. I thought they gave up too many, but they won the face-off battle. They had more hits, which again is a wonky stat that sometimes isn't tracked really well building to building, but didn't take any penalties, and I didn't think they had nearly as many turnovers as they did.
That's the key for me. I'm glad you said that, were the turnovers. And they were more cognizant of where they were on the ice. And they got across the middle of the ice. Pucks were making sure that they were going deep, whether they were, a 3-on-2 a pass, but it was going to be a high-quality pass. Otherwise, pucks went in. They tried to forecheck, and so they didn't turn any of those pucks over like we saw in game 1.
Tell you what, Letty, this fly that's around, I think he wants a little Herman Marshall.
Well, he's going to get some.
Well, we'll get him in a minute. I keep missing. But that pretty much wraps up the first period, which is a good time for us to get ready for our second period. But first, we will get to something else that Kat doesn't even like when I said it. I haven't said it since she brought it up, but I just said it. Coming up next on the Dallas Stars post-game show.
Is this me?
It's you.
Am I going to talk about this guy right here?
Are you?
I think I will. I'll talk about Herman Marshall. Founded in 2010, Herman Marshall, Dallas County's first legal distillery since the repeal of Prohibition. I was around then. Honoring the founder's passion for creating good, smooth whiskey with lots of flavor. Today, Herman Marshall Whiskey aims to preserve the legacy of Herman Beckley and Marshall Lewis with its commitment to the community, quality, and innovation. Now located in historic downtown Wiley, a beautiful little town in Texas here, is proud to partner with the Guns N' Hoses Foundation of North Texas on a single barrel expression of its signature straight bourbon whiskey. The Guns and Hoses Foundation is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing immediate financial assistance to the families of fallen police officers and firefighters, and this little bug flying around my face, lost in the line of duty. They're built from the grain up through family, fellowship, friends. For every bottle of single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Herman Marshall donates 15% of its revenue to the Guns and Hoses Foundation of North Texas for those who went before. Stop into your closest goody liquor store to find your favorite bottle.
And hopefully that fly helps too. Time to talk about Blue Chew. Does Blue Chew work? If you're asking that question, we want you to know that Blue Chew is putting their money where their mouth is by giving you a month free. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive a prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the United States and prepared and shipped directly to your door. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code ALLCITY to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast. All right. Should we have Sam?
We have Sam.
Should we welcome? Is Sam not the one flying around?
He must have found a ladder.
All right, let's bring him in. Where is he? Sam at the AAC, our beat writer, Sam Nestler. Are you here?
I think so.
There he is. Are you on the bench?
I think I'm here, boys. On the bench. Getting ready to get my shifts
in. Are you
in.
standing up on the bench?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm not. They lowered the scoreboard, which I didn't know that they were doing. So that's nice and bright behind me here.
That's quite a seizure-inducing visual you have behind us.
Yeah, I can turn this way if I need to. I'm also watching Victory Plus down here on the coaches' screens that are on the bench. This is a beautiful little bench over here. Needs to be a little shorter though. My legs don't quite touch the ground.
Man, this is just too easy. It's like fish in a barrel. But hey, Sam,
I did it to myself.
He's just joining the party.
What did you think of the? No, I don't want to pull us completely off the rails. I was about to talk about the Gilligan's Island bit. That was really fun. I told Buddy about that, and he got a real kick about the fact that our little buddy saw the little buddy. But anyway, we talked about the first period. Stars up 1-0. Kind of got outplayed in the scoring chance department. But as Sam, you and I talked about during the first intermission, and Luddy and I just said on the air, Stars were a better, cleaner team than they were in Nashville in the first period. But the big concern was no Matt Dumba to start the second period. And then shortly after the period began, we got news from Stars PR that said he was doubtful to return. Usually, PR will send out he's questionable to return, and that means he's not coming back. Doubtful is as much as as close as you can to saying he's out. But he did not return tonight. Do you have any updates from after the game?
Yeah, we asked Pete. He said he's going to get some imaging done on whatever it was. It looked like a foot, lower body. Couldn't really tell, but he's going to get some imaging done on Monday and be reevaluated. So he should be out for tomorrow and then reevaluated on Monday. Pete says day to day until he knows more. So we should see Brendan Smith in the lineup tomorrow.
I thought it looked like knee, but I can't. Yeah. It's hard to speculate. It could have been ankle. Whatever.
Well, it's hard to tell because after it was knee on knee, and then as he falls, you can't really see what happens to his ankle or the lower part of his leg there. So I'm sure they're not going to give you any more than that anyway, Sam. So that's quite a bit that you got right there.
Now, we didn't do the Herman Marshall marquee moment for the first intermission again. We did it for that 2-goal swing where Duclair missed and then Seguin scored. But Luddy, for the second straight game, the Stars used the first break to turn around and really get themselves together offensively, and they were just creating chances to start that second period. It didn't lead to any goals initially, but you had Stankoven point-blank one-on-one with Varlamov at the crease. Marchman had a partial breakaway and was in tight on the backhand. The Stars look like a different offensive team to start the second than they did the entire first period.
You think that's any kind of a concern? You know, it's happened a couple games in a row. It took them to the second intermission.
Ask me after tomorrow's first period, right?
You know, they get going. But the good news is you have a goaltender, and again, that's what goaltenders do: is they keep you hanging around and gives your team time to get legs underneath them. And you'd say they already had that one game in, but again, it's a different animal when it's your home opener. There's, you got to get to the building, you got the walk, you get all the fans and all that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of hype going on. It's hard to get into those games right away, but goaltender did a great job. And I was talking to Captain when we were sitting upstairs, and I said, that's a big goal, that second one, because that momentum that they needed to kind of turn things around and then give them a little breathing room and say, okay, now let's push forward, boys.
Well, it also, because they were playing really well, then they took a too many men on the ice penalty, which is now 2 for 2 games. Ask me again after Seattle tomorrow. That could be a concern. Did anybody ask about a couple of too many men? I mean, it was the only penalty the Stars took in the game, so you'd say that's pretty disciplined, but that's a bench minor twice in a row now, Sam.
Yeah, I know he didn't talk about it after, but it's just one of those that you kind of maybe expect early on, right, lads? You got some messy stuff. You got some sloppy changes, especially with only 5 defensemen. I believe they had 5 defensemen at the time. So you never know who's going, who's not. There was some line shuffling halfway through the game, just I think out of necessity more than anything. And so I think that's expected. I'm sure they're not excited about it, but the fact that was the only penalty is a heck of a lot better than on Thursday.
When it's the second period, it's that long change kind of thing. And again, I always say, come off before you're tired. Try to, shorten your shifts up a little bit. Don't get caught out there. And you kind of get scrambling a little bit. And then if you're not listening on the bench because guys are scrambling all over, you're not hearing who's up all the time. So it's not always on the coach. A lot of times guys don't know, and they think they're up, and the coach may have changed, who, because of they're trying to match lines. You're at home and may change it like that. So, it's on the players, and what you're supposed to be doing is saying, I got so-and-so, I got so-and-so, and, and so on. So, but again, I don't know if it has anything to do with the second period, but got to clean it up.
Well, the goal came after the Stars killed off the power play. I had one decent chance, not high danger, but Bo Horvat had a shot from a little one-timer from the top of the left circle. Oettinger saw it well, made an easy, not easy save, but he made it look comfortable. And then Jamie Benn just picks up a puck. I want to say it was a loose puck, but I think there was a little element of causing a chaos and turnover by Benn and his line mates. And then he turned and just absolutely roofed it high blocker. 2-0. The assist goes to Wyatt Johnston. And at 11 minutes almost 11 minutes into the second period, they're up 2-0. That's almost a 2-goal swing again after a penalty kill.
I was kind of wondering if Jamie fell on that, right? He fell down
on the entry into the zone.
He fell down, and I think if he would have been upright, because he was coming hard, he may have slid by the area where he got the puck in that high slot right there. I was wondering, that helped him, because now all of a sudden he's in the area where the puck gets turned over, it's on his tape, and then he makes no mistake by going upstairs on Varlamov.
So in the first period, Duclair hit the outside of the post, base of the net. So I counted it as post of the 4, but that was the first one. And then after the second goal, it felt like the Stars kind of dropped back into like prevent defense again, which is what we saw against the Predators. Because then is it Dallas doing that, or is it New York just getting a push because they started to really create big chances against?
I think with the way that this team is built and the way that Pete wants him to play, it's not because he wants him to go.
He wants him to score another one.
Yeah, if you're up by 2, let's get up by 3. So I don't think it's a matter of that. But I want to ask you something, Sam, and I don't know. We were talking about Oettinger. What, 8 of these posts? Is that what you came up with so far
in 2 games? 8 posts.
And a couple. Did any of that come up? Did anybody bring up that? And did you get any answers about that?
Jake brought it up. Big surprise. He just talked about how he said he feels great. I asked him specifically how he felt compared to Thursday, because we talked a little bit about how he looked a little scrambly early on. He said he felt way better than Thursday, especially starting the game off. He was in the zone, felt very comfortable, felt very, very calm with his movements. He was very fluid. But he did mention, he said, I felt great, but I got lucky. There's a couple plays, especially that one. I can't remember exactly when it was. I don't know if you guys had talked about it, that he got a kind of a double save on, kind of banked off the post. I think that might have been in the third period.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet.
So he mentioned a couple of those things and just said he'll take the luck, but he definitely noticed it.
The interesting thing is that after that Jamie Benn goal, the next 7 scoring chances belong to the Islanders, including 2 high danger ones. Scott Mayfield hit the left post from the low left circle, and then Brock Nelson had a redirection at the crease that got behind Oettinger but trickled wide of the far post. I think it hit 2 skates before Nelson poked it in the crease, but went
Poked it
wide.
wide.
That could have easily been 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little fortune on their side. I mean, in both of these wins there is. And so, and is it a concern? No, it's not a concern yet. I mean, if this becomes a pattern over the course of 5 or 6 games, as far as the momentum, you know, sometimes you get up by a couple goals and you take your foot off the gas a little bit. And I don't think that's the case. Sometimes you just have to give the other team credit because, you know, Patrick Waugh, he had that team ready and they're going to play on their toes. That's the way he wants them to play. And, you know, again, I'm sure when he does a press conference tonight, he's not going to have a lot of bad things to say about his team, you know, because they did push.
To wrap up the second period, the Stars got a power play because Oliver Wahlstrom got called for tripping with about 6 minutes, or excuse me, about 4.5 minutes to go. And when that happened, the best chance was shorthanded. Kyle Palmieri, who I had for 5 scoring chances of the game, one of his best ones was this rush where he turned the corner on the Stars, went backhand to forehand. Oettinger held the door closed. And that, again, going into the second intermission, still up 2-0. It's a huge difference than giving New York some life and something to build on.
Yeah, and I'm curious, Sam, was there any talk about special teams? Again, from a penalty killing standpoint, I thought their coverage and everything, penalty killing wise, we talked about it. They were a little loose on the offside the other night, but I thought it was good. I liked the way that they changed that or at least added it. But was there any conversation about power play? Any concerns? I know Pete had mentioned something today. We're not concerned. We want to get it going, but curious about that.
Yeah, no, same type of stuff. I think he that's one thing he's pointed out multiple times that probably takes the longest to get up to speed. That moving the puck quick, that making those little bit faster decisions. That's when that's really exaggerated. That you need to make that quick play, or that gap's just going to close like that. So I think they're very aware of the fact that they at times have looked very sloppy on the power play. But it doesn't seem to be an issue. At least Pete's a good actor if it is an issue.
Do you guys think it could be because of that one missing piece?
It could be.
No.
Because they, I mean, I think they moved it around so well and that they knew where everybody was. And now you're taking, I'm not saying any names here.
I picked it up right away.
I'm not going to say Joe Pavelski.
You did.
But when
she was ready.
On it, Kat. I didn't know you knew about it. All right.
Wow, that's a loud
she
ding
finds
in the headphones.
for it too.
But, when you have that kind of chemistry and you know where everybody is, it becomes so much easier. And Joe was such a integral part there, and he could move in and out and always find a place to be available. I'm just wondering if that has anything to do with it. You wouldn't think so. And when you think about, is it Stankhoven that's taking that spot or whoever it may be, you play a little bit different. And so what you used to know and what you used to see for 2 to 3 years all the time now changes a little bit.
Well, this may be over-analyzing this because it's only 2 games.
We got an hour to fill.
We do. Just a question about preseason, because again, in 6 games, the Stars really only fielded 1 full or close to full NHL roster, or lineup, I should say. They had plenty of veterans in it, but the first 5 games, they did not have anything that looked like their top 2 power plays. They had some pieces of it, and they also only played 1 game where the opponent had a NHL-heavy lineup. Do they maybe need to think about using a little more of the preseason for that purpose?
I don't think you can do that, though, because that's where you're trying to take a look at your younger players. And again, veterans aren't always 100% committed to playing in preseason games. And when you're not 100% committed, that's when, some kind of freak injuries happen, and they all know that. So I don't know if you can do that. But again, every team in the league is going through that. They all approach it the same way. I just wonder if there's just because they're not used to having different people in different spots just yet.
Sam, how do you feel about the special teams power play? I think the penalty kill looked fine tonight, and they didn't give up much, especially compared to Nashville. But do you echo the sentiments of Luddy as far as the power play really not generating enough yet? Even though there it is, she finally found it. But seriously, like, they scored a power play goal against Nashville. It was a good shot. Probably not one that should go in. Right. But what do you think?
Yeah, it's not lethal. I'll say that. I don't think it looks terrible or anything like that. It just doesn't look as aggressive. And I think, Owen, we were talking about it a little bit. Sometimes you just got to simplify, right? Especially early in a season, throw that puck on net, get it down low and jam it at the net. I talked to Owen a little bit about how I really like Wyatt when he pops out from that net front spot and goes to the bottom of the circle. He's on his forehand. He can either turn, pick a corner. He can kind of wrap around a little more and get a better angle, or he can make a pass. And I think that's a really dangerous spot that the Stars can really utilize on this power play.
And you know who else used to pop out into that low left circle spot?
Yeah. Who was it?
Well, you already said it, so I'll
Okay.
say Joe Pavelski. But seriously, that was one where Joe would be a net front tip guy and then pop out low to that side and look for a one-timer.
It's because you knew where everybody was, and there wasn't a. See, what it looks like to me now is they're thinking, and they're kind of. It's not the read react kind of thing. They're like, okay, I know where we used to be here and here and here, and it's just not happening yet. And that comes when you change a couple pieces. And so, again, you can imagine they're going to practice on their power play every single practice they have available, and they're going to get it back because they have too many good players for it not to be. Because when you go back to, if anybody watched the Florida game, they had all their pieces there, and it looked like they had just played game 8 of the playoffs from last year
of the finals.
Yeah, and so I'm saying is if everybody was in their same spots where they were at the end of last year, that this year starting, would probably be closer to what we know, and it's not right now. And again, that just takes a little bit of time and a lot more practicing.
Up next in the
which they don't have
DLLS
any
Stars
practice
post-game show. Hold on, Sam. We are going to talk about the third period next here on our post-game show. We have to talk about Sleeper. Sleeper is the best fantasy league platform out there. Put your ball knowledge to the test by picking whether your favorite or least favorite players will have more or less than their projected stats each week. We have a massive game tomorrow at the Death Star as the Cowboys are hosting the Detroit Lions, especially after last year's wild finish. Dan Campbell said he'd still go for it. In the rematch, I have CeeDee Lamb finding the end zone. So if you hit on more than 0.5 receiving touchdowns, you can get 1.8 times your money. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. Sleeper keeps you in the loop with instant alerts for breaking news and major injuries. Stay ahead of the game and keep track of league updates in real time so you're always informed and ready to outsmart your friends. If you think you have what it takes, download the Sleeper app and use the code DLLS Stars to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. And then let's talk about Rhoback Activewear. It's quite simple. Best fit, best feel. The quality of the gear just speaks for itself. Their performance polos perform better in the heat than any other polos. They're moisture wicking so the polo won't stick to you, and they have such a nice stretch you feel like you are lounging in your pajamas. Their everyday shorts are the perfect combo for a day on the move, and they look clean but have the comfort of an elastic waistband. Again, perfect. With fall right around the corner, it should be now. It doesn't feel like fall yet. What better way to prepare for the season ahead by adding one of their incredible performance hoodies to your closet? They're the softest items we own, and you won't take them off. You won't want to. In Sam's case, you'll never take it off, even in the Dallas heat. Trust me. So, if you want the perfect blend of comfort, style, and versatility, why wouldn't you use the code DLLS20 on Rhoback.com for a generous 20% off your first order? That's spelled ROHBACK.com. That's 20% off all polos, hoodies, and shorts with code DLLS20. Make sure you check them out, and they will have you ready for whatever travels and activities you have. All right, to the third period of tonight's Stars win over the New York Islanders. What is Sam? No, go back to that. You got to show him. Is he Captain Morgan? What are you doing?
I was trying to get a shift. I was trying to get a shift in. Will you leave me alone, boys? I didn't know the ad reads were over.
Sam, I hate to say this, but I think Coach Ludd just sold you to sit back down.
No, you need a parachute.
I'm trying to get out there, boys.
Parachute, dude.
I'm trying to get out there.
For you.
It's really tall boards here.
I got to ask. We're going to stop it down for a minute. I'll ask Luddy, but Sam, you can chime in too. Have you ever been sitting on the bench during a game when one of your teammates didn't quite make?
Are you talking about the hand?
And fell? No, like is coming onto the boards or onto the bench, and doesn't quite get past the 50% barrier and falls back down onto the ice.
No, I played with some athletic guys, not men's league guys.
So
like
nobody ever fell either way.
Well, not the way you're describing it. Sam, little Lud's tail or whatever you guys call it.
There's a graphic for that too, Kat.
You know how you know when you're jumping out onto the bench.
The lower third,
right?
by the way.
So the Hall of Famer Larry Robinson, right? He's sitting on the bench next to me, getting ready to put his hand up, and because you got to change to get ready to jump out. I open up the door for the guy that's coming off.
Oh no!
Well, Larry was going to put his hand where the door is supposed to be, and he went down and kind of cracked his collarbone. Not literally cracked it, but on the edge of the boards. And I'm like, my career is over with. I just took a Hall of Famer, and you got a cracked collarbone. So yeah, I've had some things happen, but not men's league stuff.
The funniest men's league thing I ever saw was the guy that was coming over, and I just happened to be sitting.
There's nothing wrong with men's league, so don't type in.
Well, you can still type in.
No, don't.
You can carve LUDs all you want. So
I'm a men's league guy now.
I'm sitting on the bench, so here you are, almost eye level with the top of the boards, and I could just see the panic on the guy's face because he goes to swing his leg over to get on the bench, and his momentum stops before the midpoint, and so then it just takes him backwards, and you can see him realize that he's not going to make it. And he's falling back, and then he just disappears below the boards, and I could not get it under control. I laughed so hard because you knew he just dropped on the ice for about 4 feet.
I've seen where guys are trying to get out quick, and they take their hand and put it on the boards, and somebody else is trying to get out. When the hand's coming down, they kick his hand.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, then down he goes. It'd be a little Sam event.
Sam, any stories from the bench?
Oh, I have two, but one of them is going to make me look real bad. But
that's the one.
Kyle,
we want that one.
My friend Kyle Shohara is the responsible for the only black eye I've gotten from hockey, and he
Wait a
was
minute.
on my
Our
team.
friend
on
and
my
former
bench.
Dallas Stars PR guy, and now Seattle Kraken head PR guy, Kyle Shohara.
Look at that little connection. I didn't
By
even
the
do it on
way,
purpose.
who are the Stars playing in Dallas tomorrow night?
The Seattle Kraken is what I hear.
And who might be in town?
Kyle.
Boy, it's like
He should be.
Tough
isn't it?
questions.
I mean, I feel like Luds Capades, they just flow. Anyway, go ahead.
The
No, you already
anyway,
forgot.
Kyle goes to get on the
little
over the
bugger.
bench, and he jumps back, and the butt
Poor
end of
little
his stick
Gilligan.
goes up under my visor and hits me in the eye.
Oh, Gilligan.
Did you
that's
get
what-
any stitches?
No, it was just a nice black eye right before I went to go meet my girlfriend on our first ever trip together. So she was really excited about that.
Did you tell her you got in a big brawl, big fight?
Yeah, I said
Oh, yeah.
right after I scored the winning goal, I took one right to the face.
Yeah.
A stick to the face or a punch?
However you want to look
Okay.
at that.
All right. Well, anyway, well, let's move on now. I think it's a great way to segue to the third period as we, that was a nice non sequitur though, wasn't it? Yeah.
There we go.
So, boy, third period was one-way traffic for a while, was it not? Stars up 2-0. Now, listen, I'm saying that the Stars have a 2-goal lead. Pete DeBoer, as Luddy talked about, and we saw this in the first 2 years of his reign as the head coach for this team, likes to win by going forward and scoring the third, the fourth, and keep pushing. But when you have a 2-goal lead, you do not have to press the game. You can let them come at you. In this case, they let them come at them quite a bit, and including I think this is the one you were talking about earlier, Sam. The Scott Mayfield Richter in the slots. Oettinger made the save, and Bo Horvat got the rebound at the right side of the crease. And what a save and the post from Oettinger.
Yeah, you know what, though, when you say they came at him, I don't think that it was a case of them sitting back. What I noticed was a full court press in the offensive zone
By the Islanders.
And they pushed their defensemen up on the wingers. I mean, they were down low. They had 3-4 guys sometimes down. And they were, and again, when you have the kind of coach that you have that wants to play that way and a kind of coach that will pull the goaltender with 4 to 5 minutes to go in a game, you know that Patrick wasn't going to sit around, and they were going to get him on the push there. And I think they felt like they had him where they probably want him. Sam, any conversations? Any of you guys talk about that push there that the Islanders had and how they did or didn't respond, the Dallas Stars?
Yeah, funny enough, Pete actually liked the team game as the game went on. So he actually believed that they were better in the second and third periods than they were in the first period specifically. But I think the key for that third period was the Islanders were coming over and over again. Every time the puck got out, they put it right back in, and there were chances, but it wasn't scrambly, right, lads? It wasn't like it was Jake Oettinger makes this crazy diving save, and then it comes back down, and then they have to dive to block it. It wasn't chaotic too much. It was kind of controlled a little bit. Jake had to make maybe 2-3 pretty good saves, and then other than that, they did a good job of getting the puck in the right areas and getting it out. And then as it went on a little bit more, and they got down to like the 6-5 minute mark, they really started to tighten it up. And then when they pulled their goalie, Stars spent the entire first minute and a half of that in the Islanders zone and almost iced the game right there. So it's kind of like a, yes, it could have been better, and I'm sure Pete wanted them to be pushing a little more and playing more in the Islanders zone like they do in their system. But I think that they did a good job of bending and not breaking in that sense. And you got to be careful with a 2-0 lead, though.
Well, but Sam, that's where the structure comes into play, and the chances and the shots. A lot of times, yeah, they're getting a lot of chances, or not. I shouldn't say chances, but they're getting shots, but they're coming from the perimeter. There's nothing quality inside the hash marks there, and so they're tight. They know that they're going to be under siege a little bit, and we tighten it up until we get the opportunity to get it out. And they were having a hard time at times getting out, but you got to remember everything's happening on the outside of the rink. And then when there is that one or two that get through, high quality ones, you have your goaltender that's been, obviously great.
The high danger ones, that was the Horvat one. Guess who had another one? Bo Horvat. A few minutes later, one timer in the high slot hits the left post. That was the fourth post, including the Duclair shot, which may have been base of the net, but fourth post the Islanders hit in the game. 8th in 2 games, as Luddy highlighted earlier. And Bo Horvat, by my count, let's see, he had 6 quality chances. I think half of them were high danger. Boy, he's a heck of a player. I know why they went after and spent some money on him, but he just wouldn't be able to find a way inside that 6x4 frame.
He is one of the I don't know, 4 or 5 best two-way players in the game right now. Because he plays well at his own end as a centerman. All the amount of skating that he has to do, power play, penalty kill. He's just a really good player. He's a solid player that you want on the ice when you're down a goal, up a goal, tied in all those times of the game. So, like I said, there's a reason they went out and got him, and that was a way for them to solidify what they were hoping down the middle of the ice.
After that, guess what? With a little over 5 minutes to go in the third period, wasn't their first shot or scoring chance, but their first really good one. The Dallas Stars actually had a chance to score. And it came, I think it was with about 14:21 into the third period. So that's almost 3/4 of the way through the final 20 minutes. And it was Jason Robertson on a 2-on-1, I think with Hintz. Great save by Varlamov. And how hard is that, Sam, knowing that Varlamov hasn't had to do anything for almost 15 minutes?
Yeah, it's a tough shot to take, especially because it was kind of a jumbled play. It wasn't clean, right? The pass kind of gets deflected. It slows down a little bit, and then Robertson ends up settling it. Again, easy to say from up top, but I thought if he had hammered that right off the pass, it's right on his stick. He has an open net. Obviously, it wasn't in the right spot for him, and he felt he had to handle it and control it. But what a great save to come across, and really gave his team a chance to win. And I want to be clear: the Islanders played a very good game tonight. I think that was just a good game between both teams, and I think that the Stars just finished when the Islanders didn't. That really was the difference.
Let me ask you a follow-up to your earlier point about how you thought the Islanders were really pressing. It wasn't so much that Dallas backed off. 13-5 was my final scoring chance tracker in the third period, including 2 high dangers for each team, because Steele missed one over the crossbar from a wide open, and Robo had that 2-on-1. And then, of course, Seguin scored a goal. But do you think this, if it's 2-2, or if the Stars are down a goal, the script is flipped because Dallas is pushing and they're driving the play?
Yeah. Well, wait, how many quality chances were you saying that you thought the Islanders had in the third period?
2.
Yeah.
2 high danger out of 13. Again,
right.
They generated a lot, and any of those could go in. But the ones where you went, wow, that was a great chance, I had 2.
Yeah, and that's why I say you give credit to Dallas for the way that they played, because there's only 2 of those. I mean, and you look, and if you give 2 high danger chances per period, you're playing pretty well.
Yeah,
because you're probably creating them at the other end of the rink if you're Dallas, because they usually do. So, and that's why I think from a coaching staff standpoint, they're saying, yeah, you know what we understand they got a lot more shots than we did in the third period, but they weren't, like you said, high danger. And when you have a goaltender of that caliber, what really is a high danger? The high danger ones, Jake is stopping too. So,
and they did miss those 2 open nets that they probably should have scored.
Well, and they're a little fortunate. Yeah. I mean, so you can look at it that way too. But I'm just saying, again, this is coming from a guy that pulls his goaltender with 4, 5, 6 minutes to go in a game, and so he's okay playing that kind of a style, and it's a hard style to play against. I mean, when you got guys down on top of you and you're trying to get, and you're just yelling, puck's got to get out. Well, I don't have any time to get them out. So they did a good job weathering the storm.
And then Tyler Seguin scored the empty net goal, and that iced it as the Stars get the win. Seguin's goal, which is his second of the game and second of the season, 8:57. It was just outside of the offensive blue line. Marchment gets an assist, so he has 2 helpers on the night. Sam Steele picks up a helper as well, and they win 3-0. And I want to talk about pulling the goalie up next here on the DLLS Dallas Stars podcast. But first, we have to talk about being a diehard of the show and of the podcast, all encompassing of DLLS. And there are so many perks about it, including in your $79.99 annual subscription, a free shirt of your choice. You get a promo code. I think it's a $35 value, which means it will never expire. You can pick anything on the list of the merchandise page, or you can wait if you think that maybe we'll make a 0 days since Joe Pavelski has been mentioned t-shirt. Maybe we'll make a Ludska page t-shirt, whatever it is. If it gets made, guess what? You can use that promo code for that, and you get one each year of which you subscribe. But really, Sam, how about some diehard content that is only on the diehard level that you can't get we have a lot of free stuff. Our pre and post game shows, our podcasts, a lot of your articles.
We have a lot of free stuff?
We provide a lot of free stuff.
I haven't gotten anything yet. Well.
No, and that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
You really wanted to pull us off the rails. Let's talk about Shady Rays for a minute. But Sam, you and Sean and all of our writers at DLLS provide great stuff. Not everything is for free, though, on the website.
Yeah, correct. I think I don't remember what day specifically, but Sean's going to do a film room every week now that we have that available. I'll be doing a lot of stuff the deeper stuff, like I did a story on the Stars kind of mantra and slogan for the year. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to put on the diehard only. You can read it by being a diehard, and then also on free and premium articles, you can get rid of any ads, make the reading experience a little bit cleaner, along with all the amazing stuff that Owen just talked about. So just do it. The season started. There's no more waiting.
You know what story I want?
What story?
I want the story how the players feel and everybody else about the logo being moved off the floor.
Oh my God!
I would love to hear.
I know how we feel about it.
Have you done a story on that, Sam?
I have not, but I certainly can.
I want to know: are the players going to go, "Oh, thank God"? Are the reporters going to go, "Oh, thank you"? Enough of this. Enough of this stuff.
I can. Yeah,
there you go.
I can tell you that the reporters are definitely excited about it because that was a chaotic
I don't even know if
trying to
anybody
get
knows
15
what we're
people
talking
walking
about,
around it.
By the way, if you want to become a diehard, go to DLLS.com. It's a mouthful. Click on the diehard and do your subscription today. Plus, you get 20% off merch in addition to your free shirt. All right, let's talk about logos for a second. It's terrible. Having a logo on the floor, which everybody says if you step on it, it's desecrating and disrespectful. Why is it on the floor then?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've said my piece. Go ahead.
Yeah, on the floor in both right dead center in the room. So you have morning skate. You go into the dressing room. Razor's very particular about calling it a dressing room, not a locker room, because there are no lockers.
No lockers.
I know. I'm sorry, but he calls it the dressing room.
Razor.
So you go into the dressing room to talk to players, and people bring in cameras and go to interview, and everybody mills around in the middle of the room because you don't want to just lump into a corner. Well, guess in this big middle of the room on the carpet, the logo. Not anymore.
And you can't step on it.
And if you step on it, it's considered rude.
Yeah, quit talking to me. Explain it to Kat.
Okay,
Kat's over there she doesn't know what the hell's going on.
So,
there are other sports where if you do that and they have it on the floor, they just walk all over it. Nobody cares.
I mean, I think it's one thing if I'm a basketball girl, so if you stomp on it like Kyrie did in Boston,
or plant the flag at midfield like a college football game, like Baker.
But if it's in the dressing room, I mean,
go ahead, Kat. Keep going.
By the way, we encourage John to talk on our show, so you're welcome to chime in.
If it's in the dressing room, why is it even there? If
and the Stars
it's not anymore.
One of the Stars equipment managers used to be tasked with bringing in a circular carpet before media availability and unrolling it to cover up so people could walk through it. I mean,
But you're still stepping on it if you're walking over it, even if there's carpet.
There's a protective barrier, apparently.
Well, it's gone now.
No, they now have this beautiful.
It's cool. It's cool now.
It's so much.
Yeah, super cool now.
Thanks for catching me up.
I love it.
See how I threw a show right off track again?
Buddy's good at it too. We all can get off the rails. I want to talk about empty net goals for a second, or pulling your goalie rather. Stars win 3-0 over the New York Islanders tonight, and you talked about this, and this is true. Patrick Roy really revolutionized when he was coaching for the Avalanche. Look at this, Money Mike. I met Mike in the concourse today on my way over for the pregame show, because I was over there partaking in our media meal that we can get, and I was about to leave, and he said, "Hey, I watch your show all the time." Says he loves it. Says he particularly
Apparently he loves you.
he loves Sam more than
that
anything.
4 exclamation marks for
a lot.
Owen.
Yeah. So anyway, in Colorado, Patrick Waugh did pull his goalie a lot early and way more aggressively than we'd ever seen in the NHL. A lot of coaches have started to embrace that over the last 10 years. Analytics part of it says that it makes sense and you should actually do it more aggressively than most coaches do. And you told me in the third period you didn't like 4 minutes to go up 2 goals. Or down 2 goals.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick does it between 4 and 5 minutes all the time. And again, I don't know what his record is or as far as not getting goals scored. I just think it's a little too much time. I can get it over 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I think with today's shooters, you know, they're such accurate young kids that are strong and can hit it from, you know, the other end of the rink. And you kind of put yourself out of it. You know, you got a 5-on-4, you turn it into a 6-on-4, you know, for the last 2-3 minutes of the game. I understand that, but again, if he's having success with it, he's not going to change, and he has that belief. I remember the first time when he was on the bench in Colorado, and I'm like, I know he's a bit of a wingnut, but I'm like, Jesus, but it was something ridiculous.
Wasn't it like
7 minutes or something? Yeah. So
Sam, what do you think about it?
I'm a big believer in a game by game basis. So if you are sitting back and you're not creating chances for the whole third period and you're down 2 goals, go for it at 5 minutes. But if you are like the Islanders and you're pushing and you're getting some chances, it is a high risk because they had control of that third period like we just talked about, and it very easily could have been that Seguin empty netter could have happened 30 seconds in. I mean, they had the puck in their zone the entire time. Harley misses the open net. That almost iced it within the first minute of pulling him. So it's a high risk thing, but I know it's worked out a lot for them. I think they've made a few comebacks when he was with Colorado. They made a few comebacks down 2 or 3 in the last 3 minutes of the game. So I just believe it's a game by game basis. I don't think you can have a strict number like some people like to say, you know, this amount of time per goals or things like that. I think if you are creating a lot of chances 5-on-5, wait it out a little bit more instead of taking that risk because it can easily just backfire in 10 seconds.
You know what, Sam, and you're right. Maybe Patrick, the way that he saw that his team was pinning the Stars in their own zone for a lot of that third period, he thought, well, why not throw another one out here? I would expect it as a goaltender. You'd say, oh, hell yeah, let's pull him a 4 or 5 minutes. I want to get on the board.
I love it. I do love pulling goalies. I think it's a great tool and teams have gotten very good at it. But as Lud said, shooters have adjusted and they've also gotten very good at it. And now that shot is free range. No more. Well, I was just about to say no more Lud's era. When if you try to score from behind the red line, you're going to get killed and you're going to get screamed at. Now it's shoot it and we'll try to win the faceoff if you miss.
Are you saying can he get it to the goal or can he get it in the goal?
Can Sam get it from one end of the rink to the other if he could?
Yeah. Excuse me. I won at the intermission one time at a game because I shot it directly into that little slot that they put from center ice. So
you scored
not only can I score
shot competition.
What did you win?
Did you win the car?
Wait, now were you using a regular stick or a goalie stick?
Regular stick.
No,
doesn't count.
One of those little knee hockey
Yeah,
sticks.
doesn't count.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was in my basement. Did I not tell you guys this was not at a?
This happened in your basement?
Me and my friends, and I said, try it, and I'll score this little foam ball right into that net.
Oh, should have never brought it up.
I do like the fact that the Stars were better tonight. 5-on-6. They didn't give up nearly the chances they did against Nashville. Just in general, they were a better defensive team.
I think they worked on they're going to continue to work on their in-zone play and having, like I said it before, like you have a rope tied to each other. And when one guy goes here, the other one pulls him into that spot and pulls the other one into the spot. So, and what happens then is you're taking care of the good areas of the ice. And if you're going to give up anything, it's going to be in the perimeter. And I think that they will continue to work on that because not only is it when you're 6-on-5, but it's going to be when you're 5-on-5 and so on. So it's all about structure for these teams, the good teams especially.
All right, guys, I'm going to ask you both this. I'm going to use a soccer term, so don't get scared, okay? What we need to do, look, we always talk about 3 stars, and I whine about it when the other team went on a road game.
Whine? Yes, that's a soccer term.
Well, in this case, I'm going to ask you guys, each of you, who your man of the match is tonight, okay? Best player can be from either team. Who's your man of the match in the Stars 3-0 win over the Islanders? We'll go to Sam first.
Yeah, I would say Jake Oettinger is probably the pick. I just think he was solid. It was really important for him to be solid early on. I think he settled his team in. They were not great in the first period. They were a little bit sloppy, like we saw on Thursday. And he didn't have to be heroic, but he was very clean, very fluid, putting pucks into corners on rebounds. So I'm going to stick with Jake on the obvious shutout there.
Well, I would have said the same, but I'm going to go with Mason Marchment. I thought he created some things. I thought he turned some pucks over. He set up a couple guys. So I'll go with Herman Marshall, Mason Marchment.
That's a lot of alliteration from
Herman Marshall, Mason Marchant, Marquee
Oh, you
moment.
had it right the first one.
Did I not get it right?
You got Marchant.
No, well, that's kind of like you
Marchment.
not saying Stankoven.
Stankoven.
No, Sam and I have already caught you. Herman Marshall.
How about this? Marchment tonight had 3 scoring chances. I believe that was the most on any Dallas Star. Look, they didn't have nearly as many as the Islanders, who really piled it on, especially in the third. But he was, like, I always say this, he's a high event player. Sometimes it's in his own end defensively. Sometimes it's the offensive zone. There was one play where it looked like he might have been hurt, where he had I think it was against Mayfield.
Laying on the ice there for
laying on the ice.
He's always laying on the ice.
Maybe he was trying to draw
Thank
a
you,
call.
Sam.
I don't know. Maybe it was a soccer play. He has been warned about diving before, but he's a player that creates things on the ice, both good and bad.
Yeah,
He was good tonight.
You're getting. They're getting the Marchment that they thought. I think there was. I think he's becoming more consistent with the good things. I think he's creating more, and and when he gets on the forecheck, he turns some pucks over. And not only does he turn pucks over, he finds a way to gather it and then make a nice pass with it.
I would have to say, since you guys, Oettinger would be my number one for sure. I like your pick for Marchment, but I would go with Tyler Seguin. Why? He scored 2 goals, including the game winner. And guess what? He had 2 scoring chances tonight. That is efficient offensive sniper because he doesn't need a lot of volume to score a goal. He gets one, he scores, gets the empty netter. Guess what? He was Mike Heika's. He did the 3 stars tonight. 3rd star of the game. He had Jamie Benn as number 2. And, of course, Oettinger is 1. Oettinger, by the way, added a save. They, sometimes the off-ice officials correct their stats before going final. 34 saves for Jake tonight, not 33, as they added 1 more. And any other thoughts on those guys? Okay.
No, I was just gonna say that line. I mean, what else can you say about that line? They were the best line in hockey at times last year, and they have just started off like they didn't miss a beat whatsoever. Seguin says they love to chat on the ice. They talk off the ice all the time, and they just look like they might be one of the best lines in hockey once again this year.
I agree with Ardell. I do. I mean, Duchesne does a lot.
Honestly,
it's a good line.
All 3 of them.
Yeah, it's a
they're
good line.
all. I wish I said it. I didn't. Somebody said all 3 of them together are better than separate. They're better than the sum of their parts. Yeah. And I agree with Ardell there. And it's amazing because there's some sort of connection that's beyond just general hockey from Seguin and Duchesne, right? They're the pair, just like Robertson and Hintz are the pair. But what Marchment does...
He's the one that complements those 2, and he does the dirty work, and he gets a hit, and he turns pucks over and goes to the front of the net. And Sam, be careful getting out the bench, okay? I just want to get that in before he gives us our 40-minute segment wrap-up or whatever he calls it. So I just
I
was going to say...
40-segment
right
minute wrap-up.
It's supposed to be 40-second to a minute wrap-up.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you have to be clear on that. All right.
I was going to give 2 points before I went up and wrote. I asked Pete about Oscar Beck because we know that he was not super excited about how he was. It was his first game. He knew it. I actually talked to Beck, and he said he just felt stiff the whole first period of that game in Nashville, just tense, felt like he was gripping it. But he looked so much better tonight, especially as the game went on. That 4th line might have been the best line in the 3rd period for Dallas. A couple of chances. They really forechecked hard. Beck made a couple of really nice plays, picking the puck up in his skates and getting it in deep. They were very aggressive. So he was really excited about Beck. But also I asked about Sam Steele because Steele was center in this game and Beck was moved over to the left side. Pete said that his number 1 thing is Steele's speed through the middle. They really like how Steele is able to get up the ice quickly, and they think that Beck is a little more fitting to the boards and battling and things like that. So my prediction, he didn't confirm, but my prediction would be that is kind of the layout going forward, and I don't think anyone's really that surprised about that.
I would think he'd like Steele a little bit better in his own zone too, in the middle of the ice down there, working low with the defenseman and knowing where to be in that right area of the ice.
Do you think that I said this to Sam when we were sitting in the press box, but they loved Sam Steele last year, and you could see it. The more games he got comfortable with the system, the more he played in the middle, and the more they were happy moving him up if they needed to in that center depth. I was surprised when they started Beck, and I thought that maybe not started him, but started him in the middle. I wonder if they wanted to try to give the young guy a little bit more. He's used to playing center, give him a little bit more comfort for his debut, so he's not. Well, I haven't played left wing as much. Now they go, you know what, wasn't great. Let's do what we wanted to do.
Yeah, I just think with your third and fourth line guys, they just have to be the guys that do the right things at the right time of the game. They have to be consistent and they have to be reliable. And they're not expecting you to come out of the games with 2 or 3 points. They're expecting you to be plus or even and play well in your own zone and make the right plays. And you get to the other end of the rink, you're not trying to do things that you shouldn't do. You get across the tops of the circles going into the offensive zone and pucks go to the net. And it's that keep it simple, stupid kind of mentality, and that's how you earn another shift, and that's how you earn to be on that board. You're in the lineup for the next game.
All right, a couple of little housekeeping moments. Let's talk about face-offs. Stars didn't get beat nearly as badly tonight, but they did. Oh, Sam's going. All right, Sam. See you later.
Guys.
Say goodbye to Ludge.
See you tomorrow. Yeah, Luddy's got to get out of here too.
Kate.
All right, couple.
I was just gonna say, you and Kat can wrap this up.
You ready to go?
Yeah.
You would walk out if I said okay. Even if I didn't say
If
okay.
you don't say it, it's okay. Got a big game tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to ask you about that.
Okay.
But before we do, 51 to 49% faceoffs go to the Islanders, but it's really close. 29-28. That's almost a push. Colin Blackwell 6 for 6 tonight in the circles. Jamie Benn 6 out of 11. That's 55%. Only 2 guys over 50%. Tough night in the circle for Seguin. He was 3 of 9, but better. But we're used to this being the number 1 faceoff team in the NHL. It's not been as much so far in the first 2 games this year.
Yeah, and Tyler's kind of drifted away a little bit from center. You know what I mean? Like not as much as he used to.
Still going to take it on the right
He'll
with
take
Duchesne
it on the strong
left. Yep.
side. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, Tyler's gonna do his job there. I just think that every team wants to be good down the middle of the ice, and you want to be on the right side of that percentages when it's all done. It's amazing how if you can be around that 52, 53%, at the end of the game, how much offensive time that you do spend and less in your own zone, as long as you're efficient getting the pucks out of your zone. You wouldn't think so, but it's such a key position, the face-off part of it, by being able to start with the puck.
Okay, let's talk about Seattle tomorrow.
Okay.
I thought, and Sam and I were talking, that they might consider getting Brendan Smith his first Dallas Stars regular season game. It's a back-to-back, so fresh legs, get him his first game. And we were talking about, well, maybe it's Nils Lundqvist coming out. That was until we found out that Matt Dumba was hurt. And if they're going for MRI imaging or other imaging, guess what? It doesn't sound like he's going to be able to play tomorrow. Right. So that's a moot point for the moment. But how do you see Brendan Smith coming in for Matt Dumba? He's not just going to go in and play with Miro right away.
No.
Will they give Nils a chance, or are they going to move back to Harley? I mean, there's a lot of different ways they could play this.
I think they like Miro over there, and has Nils done enough to earn another 4, 5, 6 minutes a night against top lines, although you're going to be at home?
I thought he was better in Nashville. I didn't think he was quite as good tonight. I saw a couple turnovers that I didn't like.
Will it be Lyubushkin?
He was almost not noticeable for me, which is perfect, right?
Or he put Harley back up there for a game?
I mean,
I don't know what they're going to do.
They could go with Essa and Lyubushkin, which is their penalty-killing duo, and go with Harley and Haskin, and now Miro's on his right, Smith and Lundqvist third pairing.
Miro's going to be just as good. He's already proven he can play that side, but
I would love to see him try Lundqvist, just to see. But I know that being the second night of a back-to-back, they might not want that to be the first time they do that this year.
Well, I mean, what did Nils play tonight? How many minutes? Did he get around the 11, 12-minute mark?
14:55.
Okay, so I don't think he's overworked.
Oh, my goodness. Look who...
John's in the chat.
I can't
chirping.
believe that he could even spell right. After what we witnessed tonight... Hold on, John. If you're in the chat, should we play it again? Oh, yeah, we should. This is our producer who's not here tonight.
Wait, now if our producer is putting up on the board, go Bruins.
Party must be done.
Go Bruins, though? Isn't this a Dallas Stars
yeah,
podcast?
but he's from Boston. He's in there, and he's probably well lubricated.
He's feeling himself. I like it.
And, of course, Kat, you can say hi to him. He's probably listening right
I
now.
know. Hi, John.
Look at that. I mean, that's light on his feet. There's some moves in there. Yeah, out of my way. We're about to do something nuts. And you know what? He didn't even lose his glasses on this. Look at that.
He lost a little dignity in my book.
Tell you what, that was something. All right.
I got to see this and drive all the way home now.
Now, you're going to go to sleep thinking about that. So, yeah, anyway, he played 15 minutes tonight. Now, he had to pick up some slack because Dumba was out. Yeah. And I didn't watch. I think Miro played with everybody in the rest of the game. I didn't watch it that closely tonight, but it'll be interesting to see how they work Brendan Smith in and then how they work their pairings.
And I think the game dictates how they do it, too. You know, where they're at in the game and what's the score and time and all that other kind of stuff.
Now, we have a pregame show tomorrow, we think. Supposed to be. It's on the schedule. Well,
we might not.
It depends on if Mr. Dirty Dancing out there gets back or not, right? Because Katya has, look at that. I had about 20 Pinot Grigios, to be honest. Look at that. By the way, he can't be that bad if he can still spell Pinot Grigio in a chat, right? There's no way. You'd just be fat. Anyway.
Just make your flight, John. Just make your flight.
Just make it. So Casey DeSmith, we expect him to start tomorrow. Jake Oettinger got through the game beautifully. Yeah. He did have a shutout, but that was a pretty high workload. I don't think you're going back to Jake tomorrow, so you expect to see Casey in the net. Yeah,
I do, and I think it's on the schedule. I mean, I think that was going to come out this way.
That's what Pete said this morning.
And you know what? Maybe it's a good time because when you've got a new guy to your team, and when that so-called second guy gets in there, sometimes the team plays a little bit better in front of him. So maybe having a new guy in there playing there, maybe that helps them, as far as spending a little bit more time at the other end of the rink.
And when you sign up to be Jake Ottinger's backup, Scott Wedgwood knew this too. You're not always going to get the best starts. You're going to get the teams tired on the road or back-to-backs. There's some that are just going to be an uphill battle.
He knows the routine. He knew coming here
3 years
going to work.
Yeah.
So I said this before. That guy on the other bench, talking about Patrick, I've said Patrick a lot tonight. He would go in a month before the season started with the coaches, and he would have a calendar, and he would say, I'm playing this one, this one, this one. I'm not playing that one, not playing that one. That's when you got some clout. Now, I don't think there's any goal. Well, there could be a couple guys that do that, but I don't know. I think the coaches that know that they have their bread and butter goaltender give them a lot of say, and they should, because it's, again, part of that is up here for the goaltender.
The coaches talk to the goalies way more in advance than they ever make out in the press.
You going back to this Nashville thing again?
No, I was going to bring it up, but I was
this
just going to...
This really is like a 5-minute wrap-up.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we had to play John's video again, so that really got into it. Thank you, Luddy. But anyway...
That place closes
I don't
at
know if you
midnight
noticed
downstairs.
This. Luddy gets into a story and starts to veer off, and then goes, but anyway, and gets back. And now I'm doing it all the time. I'm picking up your tendencies.
We do hang out like 5 times a week.
We do. Yeah, and late nights too. All right.
And we'll be here tomorrow.
So should we wrap it up? Would you like to go home?
I didn't say I was going home, but yeah, let's
Would you
wrap
like to
it up.
leave?
Yes.
Okay, let's leave.
Go.
Final score tonight, Stars with a 3-0 shutout of the New York Islanders. It's Jake Ottinger's first ever NHL shutout against New York and his 11th of his career. So a great way to start the season. He has 2 wins. That's the most important thing. But even more so, the Stars get the very fun, joyous home opener victory or home Oettinger victory. Well done. And with that, we draw to a close. But we're back tomorrow night because they play against the Seattle Kraken at the AAC. It's a 7 o'clock start. So we will tentatively be on at 6:15. We'll see how it all goes.
This is a long wrap-up, isn't it?
I would just like to say thank you to our producer, Katya, as well as for Sam Nessler. Guess who's going to be here tomorrow? Sean Shapiro. He's going to be on Pre and Post. Craig Ludwig will be here. I'll be here, whether you like it or not. So thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night. Until then, so long, everyone.
We all silly like the mayor.